So I have a rule on this channel to not ever touch an IGN review. But today, I'm going to make an exception because so many of you guys have wanted me to check out their Where Winds Meet review. And today, I guess we're gonna do just that. Now, the reason I never got to do so until now is because I think that IGN is the most corrupted, rotted company out there, and every review they have is clearly biased and try to push you into a certain narrative that, let's say, I'm not a huge fan of. But I guess Where Winds Meet, according to what you guys have said, clearly didn't stand up to their highest standards, and they gave it a lower score. Now, I don't know what they gave them. I'm gonna find that out towards the end. My guess is like a 7. But yeah, I mean, that's the lowest I would go in Where Winds Meet case, because honestly, this game is at the very least an 8. But we're gonna talk about that later. For now, I just want you to know that I really hate watching an IGN review. Usually whenever I see a review that comes from them, I know that I should run in the exact opposite direction because they seem to be a little bit more compromising towards certain companies and video games that align with their goals and agenda. And I guess Where Winds Meet isn't one of them because it's an actual good game. So let's watch this and see what they have to say. It's going to be good. I'm sure of it.
Where Winds Meet is an ambitious exercise in maximalism. Its sprawling world is a vibrant wuxia love letter
Do we have
with
captions?
over-the-top characters who can practically fly through the air, grand odes to the beauty of the natural world, and the dark political sorcery that threatens all of that on a daily basis.
Then we'll do it this way. Yeah, I see. That's a good idea.
Combat is a steady, enjoyable ebb and flow that is full of style and substance, but at a slower pace than you might think from just watching it.
Slower pace? What? Did he just call
of
the combat a slower pace combat? Dog, what are you on about? This is omega fast pace. Haven't you played any Souls-like game in recent years? Souls-like games are 10 times slower than that. This game is very fast, and I'm saying this is like as a Sekiro player. It's on Sekiro levels, 100%. And Sekiro is extremely fast, by the way, in case you haven't played that game.
The stories it tells, both the main saga and the innumerable side fables, are a turbulent gust of ups and downs both thematically and in quality. But unfortunately, the journey to experience it all is pocked by the steep cliffs of jarring late-game progression pacing and rocky valleys jagged with dizzying amounts of micromanagement that turns the very idea of interacting with its RPG systems into stone.
I can understand this one. There are a lot of elements in this game. I've said so myself. This one is kind of true.
The fictional version of
There's
10th
a lot of
century China
micromanagement.
Where Winds Meet is set in a politically broken place, where powerful clans fight to divvy up the region, both with open warfare and subterfuge. It's the perfect backdrop for you, an orphan raised by a working-class winemaker that's just itching to leave the humble life behind in search of adventure and purpose. The tale that sends you to lavish palaces, haunted caves, and dank dungeons is run-of-the-mill, with a handful of memorable moments that would be moving,
I remember that part. It was good. I liked it.
but they are often undone by some pretty awful English localization that makes exchanges between characters.
Bro, you're gonna talk about localization? Shame on you. Man, these people glazed up the most horrendous game in the world, and you're gonna come down hard on this game for localization? Man, what a nitpick. Holy, that's so biased. Wow, I can already see where this one's going. Okay, yeah, I can see that. And by the way, I've noticed myself that the localization isn't the greatest, but it's really good. The voice acting is phenomenal. Yeah, sometimes the translation doesn't align with what the actual voice actor says. True, granted. But who really cares about that? I mean, it's not the most, horrendous thing out there. Like, who cares?
Dense with redundant sentences and turns of phrase that don't really make any sense.
And again, these are the people that gave Dragon's something Veilguard, sorry, forgot the name, like a 10 out of 10, something like that. And the dialogue there was so cringe. And I'm not talking about the actual text itself. I'm talking like even the voice acting. It was so horrendous. Like, it was so bad. Like, how can you even compare this game to that and say that this game is doing like less than that? It's so weird. So weird.
Alien, never a one missing.
It's also plagued by weird technical issues like voice lines running over one another, subtitles not matching the words coming from characters' mouths, or voices going missing entirely.
That's crazy.
Can you wait for me just a
That's
I need to go inside and
dude.
check something.
Oh my god. I really want you
With
guys to
some
watch the Dragon's
diversions
Veil,
into side
Dragon's
quests and
Veilguard after
minigame
that.
dabbling, the main campaign's 2 chapters took me roughly 30 to 40 hours to complete. And while they each button up their own isolated stories well, it leaves the journey of your wanderer on a rather unsatisfying cliffhanger.
Come on, let's go!
The various side stories have the same uneven
Isn't the game supposed to just get an update and that's it? And by the way, everything is free. What are you on about? You're talking like a paying customer. If you paid $60 for this game and you were like, oh, it feels incomplete, then I would have agreed with you. My brother, this is free. What are you on about? You literally do not have to spend a dime on this game to get all of that. Why are we even judging it on a AAA game scale? And by the way, even if you were, this game takes most AAA games at the moment. What are we even on about? It's so weird. Like, you wanted their money so much from the company, you're willing to give it a negative review just for them to like, oh, you know what? Let's throw some money at IGN and maybe they'll give us a good review. Nobody cares about that. Eastern games don't care about that. You know why? Because they don't need it. They actually make good games. So they don't need to corrupt reviewers out there. They don't need to appeal to your good side. And by the way, I'm not throwing allegations out there. I'm saying that this thing may or may not happen. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not throwing any allegations. But yeah, let's just say that they don't really need you, Chief.
quality. On the whole, the best of them are better written and far more interesting than the main campaign. One story had me leading ghosts to the afterlife after the violent fall of their Buddhist commune.
Should father be home by now?
Another starts with me sneaking a nobleman out of his mansion because he doesn't want to commit to an arranged
I remember
marriage.
that.
There's a spontaneity to these stories that you don't really see in RPGs like this, but they are also sullied with way more of the technical blemishes.
Again, he's flying that flag of technical issues at every single quarter because he doesn't have anything negative to say about this game. It's so apparent. It's just funny to see.
True to its inspiration, the combat in Where Winds Meet is flashy and energetic.
Man, I hated this boss.
Each of
Just
the 7
kidding, I loved
weapons
him.
feels distinct and dangerous, and some have different styles to discover that change the patterns of your attacks, as well as the weapon skills you can unleash on your enemies.
Yeah, they're good.
You can equip 2 at a time, but I spent almost all of my playthrough as a tank, with a spear and a glaive that would buff each other when I
Yeah.
used
Oh, man,
specific
he's giving me
abilities
some
in certain
spoilers.
combinations. Though, that's partially because it's often a real pain in the ass to find alternatives worth using. All of the ability
Really?
chaining and buff management
You have so many weapons and you're really crying about no alternative? What are you talking about? Each weapon is goated in this game. I played with 3 by now because I'm in the starting area. But yeah, they're all great. They're all amazing. And even if you find a weapon that's not to your liking, there's so many more that one of them is guaranteed to be your playstyle. You don't have to min-max every single weapon. You just have to find one that you like and that's it.
makes Where Winds Meet feel much more like an MMO than an action game. It's faster paced than the genre might typically be known for. But
Yeah?
this combat doesn't share any of the sensibilities of a Ninja Gaiden or Devil May Cry. There's no bouncing enemies or air juggles.
I'm playing a Souls-like game and it's not like a non-Souls-like game. Wow. What a great analysis, dog. Like, wow, respect. You cracked the code. I'm playing Titanfall 2, but it's not Counter-Strike. Great. Great analysis there, Chief. You've outdone yourself. Amazing reviewing skills.
Nary an air combo or wall splat. Just a lot of stun meter management and weaving attacks and abilities into specific sequence.
That's good. That's good. He literally called out the game for what it is. That's good. People enjoy that. Well, why are you trying to make it look bad? Like, oh, you need to manage enemies and you need to take care of the meter and you need to block and you need to attack. Yeah. Homie, that's the point. What are you trying to insinuate here? Like that, all of that is not good? I don't know what he's really... I mean, listen, guys, I know you want me to like deep dive into this and really analyze all of that, but there isn't really a reason for me to do so because I know where this guy's coming from. He's clearly trying to push a certain agenda on us, and since we won't capitulate to his demands, or I should say dare, because it's a company, it's not really the individual reviewer fault, it's just, you know, what his bosses tell him to do. Yeah, I mean, it's just bad. There isn't anywhere for me to go here and analyze because he's being disingenuous. We all know that. We can all see that. Clearly, he's trying to paint certain aspects of this game in negative light, even though they're like the brightest point ever. I mean, you're trying, even you trying to insinuate that the combat is subpar, it's just ridiculous. It's laughable. You know what? It's kind of funny because you know that it's one of the game's strongest point. The reason I kept on playing this game, like after the first 5 minutes, is because I saw that the combat during the tutorial was nuts. It was absolutely crazy, and I was immediately drawn in. And it never happens to me in like MMOs. I'm never drawn in for the first second. It rarely happens to me, but it happened with this game. And you know why? Because of the combat.
The tank was right at home to me as a lapsed MMO guy. Managing when to defend and when to go all out felt almost identical to a Dark Knight in Final Fantasy XIV, except with an active block, parry, and dodge. These tools do help break up the sort of autopilot syndrome of many MMO battles, especially the parry, which becomes so important that there is even an auto parry system you can toggle on and off that gives you
don't play with that.
resources called
Don't be a
insight
loser. Play on Legend.
to spend as get out of jail free cards when an incoming attack is about to land.
Yeah, don't do that, guys.
This was a great system for me to play around with early on.
Have some chest
and I
hair.
still appreciate it as a clever way to blunt some of the difficulty spikes for people who need it. The MMO but rowdier combat shined the most against groups of regular enemies. I'd still get to apply my beat-em-up flowchart of finding and eliminating the scariest enemy of the group while navigating the threats of all the other lower tier henchmen, but keeping my attack loop going and buffs topped off while doing so.
Yeah, he's not even blocking, dude. He's just face tanking them and utilizing the auto defense. It's so cringe to see. Like, this guy's clearly not good at this type of video games, and he's just judging this game like he's some god or something.
Of tactics that really created a flow state I don't usually get from games like this. Of course, these enemies aren't very diverse, largely the same types of guys in different factions.
That is true. I will give him a point for that.
Unit to spice it up.
That is true. This is actually something that I've talked about myself. I really wish there were more enemy types. Yeah, that is true. You know, we have to be fair here. We'll try to be fair.
Ironically, I think the flaws of this amalgam is most evident against bosses, where things really just get reduced down to a rinse-repeat cycle of parrying and dodging attacks, counterattacking, avoiding big telegraph blows.
That's the point of this game! That's what you're playing! It's like playing a football game and complaining you have to like, what? Dude, it's crazy! Bro, I'm playing NBA 2K, and all I have to do is that same loop of trying to just shoot the ball into the basket, and that's it. It's crazy, dog. I'm telling you. It's weird. What are you on about? What are you on about? This reviewer is on something. I mean, it's so cringe. There's nothing even for me to analyze or to go about, because this review is clearly about pushing a certain agenda. It's so apparent. It's not about pushing an agenda. It's more about counteracting a different one. But yeah, clearly, it's so apparent what they're trying to do here. It's so crazy. There's nothing for me to say. I mean, you know what? It's lovely. We can actually let the video talk for itself, right? Because you can tell this guy is being so disingenuous here. It just, I don't know what to say, man. I really don't. Like, to claim that even the bosses aren't the strongest point of this game is preposterous. Brother, I didn't even reach the good parts of the game yet, and I can tell you the bosses kick ass. They're insanely good. Okay, right now they're extremely easy because I only killed like 4 or 5. But I heard the bosses down the line, especially in the main quest area, like are insanely good. So I can't look forward to, I can't look more towards them, right? I really want to reach them. That's what I was trying to say. My English skill are kind of lacking right now. But yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward towards that because the bosses seems incredible and they just get better and better the longer you play the game. So I don't know what's going on here. Honestly, it's just cringe. I really want this review to end. I can't watch this.
And so on.
It's so bad.
Most bosses are just super thugs with greater health and damage than the guys like them that you've encountered in the field.
No,
the occasional
that's a
big
lie.
spectacle boss can shake things up, but even that tier of baddies is hit or miss.
Hit or miss?
Chinese lion dancers and a full...
How is that hit or miss? Like, why didn't you explain that? Why didn't you explain how they're hit or miss? Because you can't. You know the bosses are good. You know that. You just really trying your best to make sure to paint this amazing game in a negative light. You can't even explain yourself because you know there isn't a weak point. You're trying to find chinks in their armor constantly, and you know it's impossible because the armor is well repaired.
costume that hops on beams and shoots fireworks at you. hit.
Damn, this
A
boss
late
looks fun.
chapter 1 boss that seems to be attempting to recall Sekiro's Lady Butterfly fight from memory, miss.
Okay, how is that? Explain to me. How is that a miss? Like, oh, this boss is garbage. Okay, sure. Are you going to explain why? Nope. That's it. Just take my word for it. Source, trust me, dude. God damn, that's so idiotic. I'm sorry. That's so
The
idiotic.
vast open world is overflowing with things.
And by the way, I don't want to sound like I'm personally attacking anyone. I know that this guy's doing his job. I'm not blaming him. It's just the entire company in general that I hate.
To find and do when your adventure begins. Especially early on, I was pretty regularly surprised by some of the mostly silly things I stumbled across, like a bear practicing Tai Chi. But that's not simply there for a chuckle. You can actually spy on it and, through careful study, learn Tai Chi too. With it, I could then channel the power
Yeah?
of the wind to yeet this very bear into some nearby rocks.
And this was incredibly fun. Look how insane that is.
Need to get to General Shrine.
When time permitted, I always stepped aside to try to use my mystic arts to solve puzzles in the wild. Where Winds Meet's big problem, though, is that it's filled wall to wall with other activities that come nowhere close to this sort of ingenuity. There are some
What?
jobs you can pick up that make a good first impression, like a
Dude.
healing minigame that turns curing diseases or setting
I'm so confused. What are you gonna claim now, that the minigames aren't good? I literally say in every single video I make about this game that the minigames is the best thing ever. I love finding all of these small activities you can do in the world. They're not time consuming and they're really fun. Like, you can have fun in so many of them. It's just crazy. I love the pitch pot. I love the gift of gab. I love the training areas. I even love taking the pictures. Like, they're cool. There's so many small activities you can do. Also, the hunting ones, like he showed in the video, like, they're great. And honestly, they take no more than, like, 1 or 2 minutes, right? At most. So, why not do them? It's one time only. You can't spam them. Once you clear it, that's it. It's fun. It's great. How can you even claim that they're not good? So cringe.
broken bones into a card battler. But that
Yeah.
doesn't evolve much and doesn't really reward you meaningfully as you progress up the ranks. Most everything else are versions of the sorts of things you'll see in any open world RPG like this, none of which change the well-worn formula of these distractions in a way that make checking each one out more than a couple of times feel worth the trip.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that the fishing is goated. Fishing is probably going to become one of my favorites. I still need to do more difficult ones. I've just done the easiest. Also, I really love the music one, right? I forgot the name of it. It's so fun. Once I change the key bindings and I can actually press my buttons correctly and not play like a goddamn monkey, it's so good. Like, it reminds me of like the old games I used to play, like Guitar Hero and stuff. It's really fun. I enjoy that.
And that's despite the fact that they all dump a bunch of loot on you every time you succeed. Just about everything you do in this game does, but very little of what you're given is even worth opening your inventory to take a second look at.
That is true. That is true. That is something that I said for myself. I do not like how Eastern video games just tend to just drop bomb items on you. I don't like it. And I don't like having 7 different type of currencies. That is true. I do agree with that point. I'll give him that. I'll give him that.
It's not that it's all worthless. Chances are it's going to include potions or food items that are going to be auto-used when necessary, or the various crafting and upgrade materials that will wait patiently deep in your pockets for when you occasionally need them. But my only relationship to any of this stuff is hoping I have enough of it when it's time to level
Wait,
up.
what?
Same with, but my only relationship to any of this stuff
Oh, you can upgrade your abilities. That's what people have been spamming me about. Oh, man. Oh, I feel so dumb right now. Oh God, I need to log into the game after this one. I'm sorry,
is
boys.
hoping I have enough of it when it's time to level up.
How did I
Same
miss
with
that?
gear, which I just slot in whenever it's time to make my overall power level rise. Weapons, armor, and accessories all have little nuances to increase things like crit rate and damage by small percentages, including set bonuses if you match pairs of items with similar set symbols. But this wall of text approach to equipment with tons of micromanagement is off-putting and not even very impactful until the endgame. I often
He's
just
right. I agree. You know what? I'm gonna say when I agree. I think there are too many menus in this game, and also items carry like too many words on them. Maybe it's because like I'm a dumb player. I'm not really sure. But I like it when you keep things simple, especially in a game where it's so bombarded with activities. It's really nice if your inventory would have been a little bit less a little bit lighter. I'm sorry. That's what I'm trying to say. Like a little bit less heavy. I think that would have been great for the game. But right now I'm learning the moves still. I'm learning like all the menus. But still, it's a hassle. if it would have been simplified, I think that would have been in the best interest of all players.
Click the super handy quick advance button in the bottom corner that spends all of your resources to upgrade everything in a manner it deems fit. An option whose mere existence sort of makes a more damning argument against these overstuffed systems than I ever could. There are
Interesting.
milestones that freeze your ability to continue leveling up at certain points until you pass what's called a breakthrough test, pitting you against waves of enemies that you must slay in a certain
This was
time
fun.
frame
I did
in order
one.
to move on. These tests can eventually get tough, and passing raises your max level, but it then undermines that progress by also raising the collective strength of all of your enemies. Annoyingly, main story quests start to become level-gated as you approach the end, meaning you have no option but to grind experience in order to eventually pass these literal DPS checks.
So like every other game out there, you need to be at the right level to reach the right time to play the game at the right moment. Wow, surprising, right? But why are we judging where wins made on it? Because it doesn't align with our values and goals. Yes.
And even when you do, a breakthrough test might require you to wait real-life hours before you can move on to the next tier, as it did for me on 2 occasions, by gating my progress behind daily server updates, making me jump through a bunch of hoops to progress, only to tell me that I'm actually moving faster than intended, is ridiculous.
So wait, brother, the game is free. You haven't paid anything. Like, just wait. Who cares? Wait one day. That's it.
Tell me how to
Go play
waste
something
my
else.
life.
Go touch grass, literally. Like, do something else. It's fine. You don't have to cry about it.
Gliding across the windy shores, rolling hills, craggy mountains, and bustling towns of the Xionghu is a breezy experience thanks to your generous triple jump and wall running abilities, when they actually work, that is. During every play session, at inexplicable intervals of time, these features will just inevitably stop working entirely, only to just be fixed when I log out and log back in. This
Really?
doesn't make navigating...
To me, it seems like you tried jumping without stamina and you fell like an idiot. But that's just me. I don't know. At the same time, I don't know. If you had certain bugs and glitches, I can freely attest to that. I never really had any. I played the game, and whenever I fell down and made a mistake, it's because I'm the stupid one. It wasn't the game's fault. It was just me.
all the mixed terrain a problem, but some hidden chests or activities that require these extra movement options are temporarily taken off the table for reasons that never feel good. Navigating lagging menus to sort out your gear, check the map, or level up your abilities can be a chore as well. Fumbling through sub-menus...
He's
to click a
mentioning lag
tooltip
so
that I
much.
could read a
Brother, have you considered playing on a different system? Maybe it's you the problem. How can you encounter so many bugs and glitches while I encountered literally 0? It's so weird. It is so weird. Something's wrong with his like gaming system. Like his gaming rig is completely dusted off, and he's like, "Oh, this game is not working." Like trying to run it on like his mobile phone or something. Dude, you're the problem. What's going on? Like it's so weird. I'm literally getting rage baited here.
further item description or find out where something was on the map was always a draining experience. The world of Where Winds Meet could have done with a couple dozen fewer of its random 5-minute mini quests if it meant spending more time making the process of flipping through all of these spreadsheets less painful.
But the whole point is the wuxia atmosphere, right? You guys have told me that random encounters are like part of the game. And that's the beauty of it. You can actually play and encounter some random kid that needs help with something. You help him and then he gives you a reward. Or you can encounter a random goose that kicks your ass. Like, you know, it happens to some. I heard that. Definitely never happened to me. But these encounters are what makes this game feel alive. And the best thing is, if you miss an encounter, you can always find it at a later part of the game. So it always incentivizes you to just explore and just feel the game and actually feel it breathing. And it's so fun. It's so good. I love that. It's what makes this game unique. I think every open world game in the future is bound to follow after Where Winds Meet because this truly revolutionized the entire genre. It just changed anything.
You can play a lot,
Change everything, sorry.
of Where Winds Meet co-op,
I
but
still need to
servers
co-op.
were pretty scarce pre-launch, and finding people to run multiplayer-focused events wasn't possible. I did at least get to take on the big raid-style bosses thanks to a full CPU party option. These automated party members were competent enough to do the Simon Says required to minimize damage when necessary, but if they weren't basically immortal, I'm not sure they would have had the chops to kill any of these scary enemies. I'm sure my experience here
His
is not
entire rig is
representative of the
crumbling.
design intention of these big co-op romps, but I'm still glad I could get access to the novel items they drop without having to find 5 of my own friends to do so.
Greetings. Look, we really don't have.
Oh, here it comes. Here it comes.
Perhaps there's a version of Where Winds Meet that isn't throttled by the storm of its own lofty aspirations. It has a great understanding of what makes wuxia such a compelling subgenre of fantasy fiction, bleeding into a vibrancy of its characters and the flair of its combat. But it becomes clear very quickly that the attempt to shove as many kinds of experiences into one game, open world adventure, action-heavy MMO, musical rhythm game, card battler, etc., only ensures that none of these elements reach their full potential. Instead, Where Winds Meet is an amusement park where every ride is being run at half speed, and the sugary treats at
He's
the
gonna give it a
concession
5.
stands come
Wait,
with
what?
piles of paperwork
6?
to complete.
Dog, what? Oh my god, giving it a 6. Are you kidding me? It's like he wanted to give it less than that, but he gave it 1 point just to stay above water. It's so cringe to see. This game is a 6, but Dragon Age the Veilguard is like a 10 out of 10. Okay, sure. Yeah, we can totally see where their values are. And they're not in the human world with us, Chief. That is so odd. Like, that is so odd. But to be honest, I'm not even mad. I just understand. It was so obvious. It was so obvious they're gonna give it like around this score. It makes complete sense because we know that they hate anything that is actually good and makes player happy. Yeah, sure. You know what? A 6 is an actual compliment from IGN. I'm kind of disappointed he didn't give it a 3 because now I would have known that this game is insane. But yeah, a 6. So crazy, so weird. You know it's so disingenuous when only the thing you spoke about, like the only thing, literally 12-minute video, 80% of it is all about bugs and glitches. That's it. And lag, and server latency, whatever. You never even spoke about this game. Whenever it came to the bosses, which are the strongest point of this game, you just said, oh, they're not good, but you didn't bother even to explain why. Because there isn't a reason. And you know that. You know the bosses are fire. You know that enemies are great. You know that combat is fun. And you know that the world is incredible. But you didn't want to mention any of that. So you tried to go around, obfuscate, and use certain words that insinuate that this game isn't good. You try to paint it in a bad light, and yeah, it didn't work because so many people are enjoying this game. This game is literally the best thing you can get for free. If this game were to be around $6 and it was like AAA price, then we would have had a different discussion. And I even would have I myself would have judged it more harshly. That being said, even if this game were to be $60, it's still way better than most AAA games out there. So, what are we talking about here? I don't know. Anyway, this guy is clearly disingenuous. I'm glad I watched this. It was kind of funny, but at the same time, it kind of made me mad. So I don't want to keep talking about this. It's so cringe. That's why I never watch IGN reviews, man. Like, there's a reason for why I have a rule on this channel to not ever check out their reviews, ever. Because I just don't trust them. They clearly trying to push a certain worldview on you, and it's so cringe. If you don't see eye to eye with their goals and values in life and their ideals, you will just get crumbled under their harsh reviews, which nobody cares about anymore because they lost all sense of value. But yeah, okay, I guess it is what it is, right? Okay, Keanu Reeves is about to play something hard. Wait for it. This was actually recommended to me. I need to see this. This is a 6 out of 10 game, by the way. God damn. This is good. Yes! Yes! This is what I'm talking about. God bless. We have evolved. Let's see. Straight out of Kaifeng. Come on, dude. Keanu Reeves playing Distillery. What a time to be alive. Yep. IGN gives this performance 60 out of 100. Yep. You know it. We're making out of the bamboo grove with this one, boys.